Okay, folks, welcome in. This is Babinator. We're here hanging out in Long Dark, waiting for our bear hide to finish curing, getting ready to head on out. So many possibilities here. I don't know. Cabin fever risk still 27.
I'd eat anything right about now.
So yeah, off stream. Earlier today, I decided I had a little bit of time, and I was like thinking, they made the announcement about episode 5, and I still have not played episode 4. So I started playing episode 4 off stream. So there's Blackrock. We all know how I feel about Blackrock, but it's Blackrock with saves, so that's definitely a little nicer. Okay, so what is our plan here? $37 must have been when we were in the climb down. But yeah.
I'm not going to be able to carry this load for much longer.
Okay, the wind's died down. Start of a new day. I think we talked about just getting our. I think we might be going to whatchamacallit. Um, here. Yeah, so I think what we're doing is we're going to go to. Let's see here. Exception of 1 liter here.
I feel numb. I'll die if I don't warm up soon.
Yeah. Can't bear to wait any longer. Something like that. We just pack everything up. We'll leave the guts behind. It actually doesn't really matter how many saplings we have. We only have 7. We'll take 2 more. That should buy us enough time. Yeah, they're light. We'll leave 1 behind.
Yeah, this pack is getting kind of heavy.
Okay. Oh man, big wins. I feel like at this rate we should just take our bear hide. Go back inside, wait. It's just
Feels like an empty pit.
you know, I really don't want to lose this. If I leave it in the that's still in good condition. This is good enough. This is good enough. This we just leave for now. Yeah, I think we're going to Forlorn Muskeg. It's our best choice. Oh, how was your day, Roller? Mine was pretty quiet. Well, it wasn't actually that quiet. I had did some work in the morning, and then I usually every year I sign up to be a mentor for other writers as part of a program sponsored by AWP, which is the Association for Writing Programs and um, writers. And so it's a volunteer thing. They pair you up with an emerging writer. Well, actually, they give you a list of people. You read their portfolios. You decide who you want to work with. Then you tell them who your top choices are, and then they contact your top choice and say, "Hey, would you want to work with so and so?" And if they don't want to work with you, then they'll find someone else from elsewhere on your list. So, anyways, I got my top choice. Got to work with the younger writer whose work I was really enjoying when I read through their portfolio, and we had a great conversation today. That we had scheduled an hour. We ended up taking 2.5 hours, but it was fine. It reminded me just how much I enjoy having these deep, meaningful conversations about literature and about poetry and craft and why we write.
Freezing.
Yeah. My morning was spent mostly working through another tutorial, trying to understand how to get this thing set up for using Llama 3, create an AI driven bot or chatbot for a particular project. And surprise, surprise, the walkthrough that was sent to me was incomplete and out of date. So I had to track down some more recent walkthroughs, and hopefully tomorrow We'll be able to get through one of them and make it work. And then I can report back that it is working as intended. Oh, really? Poetry came up on Troopers. I don't think we're going to fit through there. No. Yeah, it's not going to work either. Okay. Okay, move everything over.
This much gear.
Mostly reminiscing 80s tunes. Okay. I don't know if I told you that I finished watching The Red Queen, which was phenomenal. Wonderful, amazing show. The ending is great too. Now I'm really hoping that we get a sequel, a follow-up series at some point. But I think our best bet is to go find the cave on this side. Hey, Sweet Lou. Welcome in. Good to see you. Okay, I know Roller doesn't have an active channel. Can't remember if Sweet Lou has something going on. Nope. So yeah, I watched that. So I think it's an Argentinian TV series. It's definitely like inspired by Sherlock Holmes, but reset in a contemporary time. Um, I really enjoy the characters. I think they've done a fantastic job, like creating really interesting characters. The main character who's kind of the Holmesian super genius who has some deep social flaws, um, is phenomenal, interesting person. Very tragic sort of setup on that one. But very good. Anyways, do recommend it. Not going to spoil too much about the show because I think it's deserves to be enjoyed with all its mystery. But yeah. And then I was saying earlier today that I had started playing through chapter 4 of Wintermute, something that I have put off for a while, but I figured with chapter 5 coming, I should we should actually play through Wintermute. And because it is set in Black Rock, I was like, it really should be something that I do to familiarize myself with some aspects of Black Rock that I tend to avoid completely when on my playthroughs. So we'll see how that goes. But so far, I'm familiar enough with Black Rock that I don't get too panicked. I do keep waiting for more Timberwolves, though. You still avoid it? Okay. Yeah, apparently episode 5 is significantly larger than pretty much everything else so far. Which makes me think that they ended up with a Patrick Rothfuss problem, right? Which is to say that they set up a series where the pacing became such that in order to resolve it in the number of episodes they promised, they have to cram a lot of stuff into the last one, which is, Name of the Wind is a great opening novel, but the second one doesn't move fast enough through the material and then creates an impossible situation for the last one. Yeah. Nemesis was grumbling about HRV. Yeah. I mean, HRV is kind of, it grows on you after a while. I still don't love it. I don't love HRV, but it is a pretty rich, like for the lack of man-made shelter, it's a pretty rich resource rich location to mine in terms of the potential for you to find all the basic ingredients for survival are there. That's pretty incredible. Um, Hey, don't run away with my arrow. We're gonna have to forge more arrows in Broken River or here. I don't know. So yeah, I'm thinking I'll call the next challenge Matchless Survivor. Sounds very dramatic, very melodramatic. Matchless Survivor, which is basically a run where we don't use matches at all, which could be very short, but like whenever we find matches, we drop them. That's gonna hurt so much. Yeah. Oh, I thought Astrid starts fires by sacrificing horses. Always threatening to do that. Oops, we don't need that. The other idea I had is to experiment with like installing mods on the Long Dark. Um, like the ones that add additional regions. Imagine doing roll with it with like completely new regions that you don't know at all. We did it with the when we last roll with it run we had to do that with zone of contamination. But I mean, imagine if there were multiple regions that you just didn't know at all. That would be wild if we had a completely procedurally generated survival world. Okay. Yep. Drop one of those. So yeah, I'm still settling into a regular weekly routine. So I'm trying to decide like when and if I want to add in some daytime streaming. Um, I think probably the top choice. I know some of you would like me to do some more solo RPG stuff, and I might do that. Um, but I think I really do owe it to myself and to many of you to go back and finish working on Into the Dark Woods and get that game done. And then I also need to work off stream on creating a version of my crab fight game into something that could be released. So, because I had a conversation with my people in my D&D campaign about it, and they suggested that I look at rewriting the game so it is decoupled from D&D, which I think is a great point. And I was thinking about it being more of a card game, with occasional dice rolls. Crash Jones would be delayed, file corrupted. So yeah, so he has to do a new one. Yeah, it kind of hurts. Okay. Yeah, I'm not entirely certain. I kind of like the idea of the solo RPG. I just don't know how streamable it is for me. Because I'll be honest, a lot of times I get too fussy and want to, just work on building things and not necessarily on doing the solo roleplay. But then if I'm running a game for other people, I'm the opposite. I like building stuff out, but I also really like spinning stuff up out of nothing, in that moment.
I'm not going to be able to carry this load for much longer.
Okay, let's see what we got here. Too much water. Mm. I did think about something else that happened today that was not necessarily a good thing. I had to file a report with Twitch because someone has been trying to use, or did successfully use, uh, basically they were buying bits on a separate PayPal account that I have. Um, and so I'm not exactly certain how they were able to do this because there's no evidence of anyone logging in, either like logging into my PayPal account, which does require multi-factor authorization or authentication, and has a fairly complicated password, anyways. Yeah, so I'm like, I'm not certain how they did it, but they tried to buy 500 and then tried to buy 1,500 bits, and then I saw the transactions go through. Like, I have things set up so PayPal just notifies me whenever there's a transaction, and so I saw them come through. It's like, that's the wrong account, and what are these dollar amounts? And I looked it up, and it's like, oh, well, these are invoices for bits that I never purchased, so it's clearly not me. So, anyways, I had to file a report with Twitch. So hopefully they reverse the charges and block that. But I think they must have a hole in their system where basically you can set up a new Twitch account, and if you've discovered someone's email, or you could try to use someone's email as being their PayPal account. And they really should do some sort of verification that that is their PayPal account. But I think they just set it up so you could just specify which account you want the payments to come out of, and you could just assign it to someone else's email account. That's broken. That seems like a huge gaping flaw if that's the case. And there's nothing I can do if someone else attaches that to their account. Yeah. Anyways, I don't know if that's how they did it, but that's like I was thinking, is that how they did it? Yeah. Anyways, weird stuff. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought they were supposed to lock those. So I don't know how they bypassed it. Oh, I should have drunk the herbal tea earlier.
I could eat a horse.
Yeah, yeah.
I could eat anything.
Did that sound like a cougar purring? But yeah, as far as I can tell, the purchase came through a Twitch account that was then, requiring payment out of my PayPal account. I don't know how they did that. And I checked to see what devices were connected to my PayPal account, and I did not see any evidence of another account or another device that I didn't recognize. So I don't know. I really don't know. Very mysterious. Well, I think the scammers, run a low value one first, and then a higher value one, and then they check to see if anyone reports anything, and then they'll try to do a a big ticket. They'll try to scam big money out. So it pays to be vigilant. Keep track of things. I mean, the joke's on them. It's tied to my US account, and there's like I'd moved to Canada. My U.S. accounts are basically empty. Like, I just keep it open in case I ever need to have access to it. But and also because it preserves my credit history in case I do go back to the States at some point. There's no current plan to do that, but you don't want to close your accounts, lose your credit history. Okay, I hear a wolf. Yeah, no plans to do that anytime in the near future. Oh, exciting news today about the Pope, too. I was not Catholic, but I thought that was a pretty exciting bit of news. Seems like a really decent person. Pope Leo. Leo the 14th, I think. That was funny earlier. A few months back, I watched Conclave, and then we got to see it happen. A cave in the Enclave. Oh.
Felt so cold and alive.
Yeah, I think one of the problems with this run is we are too well set up at this point. It's like the challenge is starting to go, so like need to do something drastic. That's why we're going to do matchless next. Hat Creek. Oh, so tomorrow night's another night of D&D. My in-person game continues. We bring the intrigue and drama to the next level, and all the terrifying twists and turns of this campaign continue to unfold. But I am left with a need to replan the boss fight that I originally had planned, because last minute changed who I wanted the boss to be. Party has 4 different nightmare lords to deal with, but I decided that they would each have their own characteristic or motif, and they are going to fight the machine nightmare lord of machines, who is perhaps some sort of modified iron golem. I haven't decided yet. Maybe there'll be shades of like Voltron in terms of being composed of many different smaller machines assembled together into one nightmare lord. Who knows? Ooh. Maybe next season will be Cthulhu style. Everyone starts to lose their sanity. There may already be a little bit of that instability creeping into the campaign.
This pack is getting too heavy to carry.
The leg. Hmm. Okay, we're almost out of here. Mm-hmm. Getting sleepy. Okay. So you think there should be an arm of Voltron, just like the hand of Vecna, the arm of Voltron? I think that would be funny. What do you want to hear, Roar? Oh, it's too early to wrap up. We're not even first hour in. Nah, we should make it at least an hour and a half. Yeah, I think I want to do another. Let's see if we can get another hour in. I think that's fair. Still gives me an early to bed time, which I might need.
I'm not gonna be able to carry this load for much longer.
There we go. Okay, we need more torches. You have a full day off before pager duty starts? Oh, that's nice.
Come on, little fire.
I have only half hour left in my main job, and then I have another research project job that adds another 4 hours a week. Up to 4 hours a week. I don't have to use it. It's just there as extra. I might use a little bit of that time. I might do 1 or 2 hours in before my afternoon meeting with my boss on that, just so that I have a little bit more to show. I'm close, so. Yeah. I had turned in my timesheet earlier today, so. There usually needs to be a 3 hour minimum. Yeah, we get paid every 15 days, or kind of. It's a little weird. So we get paid twice a month, once on the 15th or close to the 15th, and once on the last day of the month. And then your timesheets are due every 2 weeks. Which sometimes aligns with when we get paid and sometimes doesn't. Well, you know what we should do? We should finally get around to making those our hardened arrows. Pull a few of those out.
Come on. Come on, little fire.
Oh, we don't have enough crow. Oh, our crow feathers. Where are our crow feathers? We used them all up. Okay. That's no good. I think they got spooked, ran away. Okay. Okay. Oh, I'm still getting sleepy. I have to take a break. Maybe I have to make myself some tea or something.
I can't feel my hands.
What do we got here?
Wait. I'm so cold. I'm warming up a bit.
Oh boy. I don't know if I'll make it in an hour and a half. kind of catching up to me. Okay. Okay, we're going to take a short break here, stretch a little bit, and refill water, and back in a little bit. Couple minutes? Yeah, let's do a couple minutes. Okay, we're back. Where are all my feathers? No feathers. Oh, poor Astrid's getting pretty beaten up by the weather here.
One little fire. Perfect.
Should have left those in the cave already. Oops. Oh, we got lots already. Okay, we should probably do this. Okay, let's go inside.
I can barely walk with this much gear.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so seriously, I don't know if I'm going to make it another half an hour. I think I am kind of running low on steam tonight. See what we can do. Didn't take an afternoon nap. Maybe I should have taken an afternoon nap. Anything that needs repair. Okay, let's think about next steps here. Yeah, it's okay. Okay. Yeah, running low on steam. Okay. Eyes keep closing. Not a good sign. Yeah, we'll probably wrap up here. How much progress did we make? 41. We only made it 2 days. Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. Sleep apnea risk. Yeah. Well, one of the things I've added to my schedule is I now go for like a 20-25 minute walk every day. And depending on the timing on the walk, it sometimes I eat and then go for the walk and then am tired afterwards. Sometimes I go for the walk in the middle of the day, have more time, and then yeah, just different timings. Yeah, I mean it's the weather's been nice, overcast, but you know, 15 degrees Celsius, overcast. I have the option to either wear something long sleeve or short sleeve. Yeah. Okay. Um, I'll pass a little bit more time. Okay. Okay. This was where we finish. $42. Perfect. We made it over. So we got 3 days in. Knew we were pretty close to getting our 3rd day in. So 42. Oh, and I think we do have a another wolf down. 5. Okay. Okay, let's pick up with a final poem and then something of my own. Who do we want to read from tonight? Okay, let's choose something from Amy Nezkumatahil, or Amy Nez, as a lot of people call her. She's one of the poets, one of the rare poets that actually spends most of her time writing about joy and wonder. Okay, this is a form where there's a refrain, there's a line that keeps coming back in different forms. So this is like a ghazal, but not exactly like a ghazal. It's a different form. I'm trying to remember what this is exactly. But anyways, it's called Letter to the Northern Lights. The light here on Earth keeps us plenty busy. A fire in central Pennsylvania has been burning since 1962. Whole squads of tiny squid blaze up the coast of Japan before sunrise. And, before sunrise, of course you didn't show when we went searching for you, but we found other lights, firefly, strawberry moon, a tiny catch of it in each other's teeth. Someone who saw you said they lay down in the middle of the road and took you all in. And I guess you're used to it. People falling over themselves to catch a glimpse of you, and your weird mint glow shushing itself over the lake. Aurora, I'd rather stay indoors with him, even if it meant a rickety hotel and its wood paneling, golf carpeting in its bathrooms, grainy soap cakes, instead of waiting until just the right hour of the shortest blue night of the year, when you finally felt moved enough to collide your gas particles with sun particles. I'd rather share sunrise with him and loon call over the lake with him, the slap of shoreline threaded through screen windows with him, my heart slamming in my chest against my shirt, a kind of kindling you'd never be able to light on your own. That's a letter to the Northern Lights. So. But yeah, she writes a lot of love poems and a lot of poems about nature. This is from her collection Oceanic. But yeah, okay, so that's from my friend Amy Nez. It was Letter to the Northern Lights by Amy Nez, the long last name. Okay, and we'll read one more poem of mine. Let's see what we get here. Random poem. Oh, we did that one last night, or last time. Let's do something else. Forgetting to fill up in Saskatoon. Yeah, we can do that one. Okay, so this comes from my first book of poetry, Lost Country of Sight, published by Sundress Publications. Oh, published by Nhinga Press. I gotta get this right. Nhinga Press, 2008, winner of the Philip Levine Prize. And this poem is entitled Forgetting to Fill Up in Saskatoon. We ran on empty for an hour. 3 boys in a borrowed car, miles away from anywhere but these dead farm towns without street lamps or oil, just burnt out gas stations and the low moans of cattle shifting in the dark. Dry as December, we coasted all the way home, whispering prayers and holding our breath as if to lighten the load, till the faint lines of the city rose at the edge of our view, like the far-off fires of a familiar shore, and we pulled ourselves in, weary men, tired of the sea. So the poem's kind of origin is in an experience I had when I was a teenager. There was a group of my friends. We were attending something in Saskatoon. So there are 2 big cities in Saskatchewan. There's the city of Regina, which is the capital, and there's Saskatoon. And there's 2.5 hours in between them. And so in between the 2 cities, almost exactly at midpoint, is a small town called Chamberlain, which has basically nothing other than a few gas stations, some few houses, a large grain elevator. It's basically a midpoint, and that's what it is. So when you're driving cross country, when we've driven from one city to the other, and then we're driving back again, so that's a total of about 5 hours of driving by the time you get done. We're the car that my friend Justin was driving, his parents' car, he forgot to fill it up when we left Saskatoon, and we now had 2.5 hours to go, and we were running at first on a quarter tank, and by Chamberlain, we zipped through Chamberlain, and we totally forgot to stop for gas, and then suddenly we were like an hour away, and we're like, we're on empty, and there are no gas stations anywhere. There was like one small town that we saw. We pulled over, like we just coasted into the gas station. But as soon as we coasted into the gas station, realized it was closed for the night. It wasn't even an all-night gas station. So we never really, Justin never took his foot off we just kind of coasted in. We never turned the car never got turned off. We just kind of coasted in on neutral. A lot of time we did different things, like he tried sticking in neutral and letting forward momentum carry us, for part of the way. And it really did feel like we did everything possible to try to somehow magically lighten the load. And we were praying desperately that we not get stuck in the middle of the night, in the middle of the prairies. My mother always said, there are very few things that you have complete control over. And she said, but the one thing that you should have control over is whether or not you run out of gas. There is no point, there's no reason why you should ever run out of gas, in most normal circumstances. As soon as you get to like, the last third or the quarter tank, you fill up immediately and you will never run out of gas. And so I kind of took that to heart. And then this experience in my childhood also made me like think, yeah, I don't want to be in that situation ever again, where I'm just like, there's nothing left, and the you see sort of the meter is all the way into the red, and you're like going, we're on fumes. And then how much joy there was when we saw that we were finally in city limits, and there was a gas station. We coasted into the gas station, at the very end of the night, and filled up, and we're thrilled to be able to drive back to our homes afterwards. But yeah, forgetting to fill up in Saskatoon. So if you're from Saskatchewan, it's something that really like resonates, that experience of like, oh, this is a big, vast space where a small mistake like that could have some pretty serious consequences. Thankfully, it wasn't in the dead of winter. Otherwise, that would have been even worse. The run out of gas in -40, -50, sort of, but basically, Great Bear conditions, right? So things get really bad overnight sometimes. Okay, so let's go find someone to raid. Games and cookies. Nemesis. Let's go visit Nemesis, who's doing Wolf Wrangler. But yeah, just kind of a little tired tonight, so we'll be back Saturday, I think. It's funny. I was just thinking about like streamers that were on all the time when I started streaming. A lot of them are no longer on, and yet we're still going. Albeit we've scaled back. I've scaled back my time. But yeah, some people like Hambone, who was also from Saskatchewan, quite the character. Loved having him on stream, and yeah, just busy with other stuff. Yeah, but Big Fish is still on. Chef Maria is still on. Yeah. Okay. Good nights. Good night out.